Where's the trailer park project at?
It's not officially called a trailer park. It's the RV park. That's out of the village. That's over on the border there, past Duesenberry. So it's right on the edge there. It's Serenity Ridge, they call it.
So it's already in motion?
Yeah, they've approved it. There's construction there. I hope they're following the guidelines the planning board laid out for them, and we'll see what happens and go from there.
Have people acquired all the lots, all the RV?
I don't know. You'd have to go to I guess the Warwick planning board, not the planning board, the Warwick building department to find out about the permits.
Yeah.
If that's even accessible. It might be through the private company that bought the campground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure.
Are people already living there at all?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there never was supposedly anybody that lived there. Driving by, there's some construction going on. I do see, mobile trailers being brought in and out. So I guess there's some aspect of it still being used while they're doing other construction pieces.
How are the neighbors doing with what's going on there?
Cautious. They're kind of just waiting to see what this ultimately becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was always a primary concern. So we'll see what time tells.
How about your anthropology interests? Have you pursued those at all?
No, there's no money in it. No, that would be like you'd have to get a master's or a doctorate and then go and end up being a, adjunct professor or a sitting professor. So not at this time. I use it a lot in the village. It's, aside from the archaeological aspect and the prehistoric aspect of it, a lot of it is social anthropology. So you learn a little bit about, modern cultural dynamics and behavioral stuff. So I use it from time to time.
Can you think of a time that you've used it?
I took a class about body language, so I can somewhat confidently know a person's demeanor, even if they aren't verbally expressing it. So, yeah, I would use that probably the most. But
Okay.
I guess I do have one question, maybe about commercial development in terms of things like grocery stores or
we have
access to food. I guess in because we have the ShopRite and Price Chopper.
Yeah.
But is there anything coming here or any other businesses that might be?
We're always open to businesses to come and invest in the village. The biggest issues are the locations. We have reached out to Alti, a couple other chain marts and stuff that are small grocery stores. The biggest issues are floods, flood zones. The village, sadly, the chunk of it is flood area. So for an investment like that, they kind of balk away from it. But we do have enough people that go through on a daily basis where it would be an interesting location. It's just how do we find a property that works for them.
I guess another question, you mentioned the flood zone aspect, with things changing in terms of climate change. Mm-hmm. Have you seen an increase in flooding, a decrease in flooding, or how do you see that becoming an issue in the future?
I've seen an increase in excessive rainfall in a really short amount of time, which does lead to flooding. I have never seen it as bad as the 2011 flood, Irene, and that back-to-back storms where the entire village was basically underwater. Right. Where you come into where Central Deli is and the Quick Check, that was all underwater and it went out towards Maple Avenue. I've never seen that. Some of the senior people that lived in this area, they haven't seen that since the 50s. I do see with our infrastructure, when we do get the high volume water, it does damage our drainage systems. If we have any areas that get hit too hard, it will cause ruptures and damage. So I do notice that. One thing we try to actively do is keep our streams clear. So when it does flood, there's no debris to jam it up, because that was, when you talk to enough people, that was one of the issues that flooded. They got clogged up and the water just came too fast and they couldn't do anything about it.
So you would go on to, you'd have to go, it's privately owned property and you would maintain the stream?
We try to do an easement.
Yeah.
A lot of things we do now are easements. And then, I guess there's a state law where you can, if you go down the stream, it's navigable. So, but there's a couple pinch points that are the primary targets, and then we try to notify the property owners to try to keep it clean, because we can't go in all the time.
Right.
Now, some of the stuff's too big, and then the purpose of the benefit of the village, we'll do what we have to do to take some of that stuff out. Just because, it's very hard on a homeowner to take a 100-foot tree out.
Right, so it's not is it the homeowner's responsibility, or it falls on the?
There's nothing set, there's nothing by law. It's more we notify and go, hey, we did a survey, or we did an analysis, and we have debris in your area that needs to be removed, otherwise you can promote flooding. So we try to control that as best we can.
And if they don't address the problem, would the village intervene or offer to help?
We haven't had those issues yet with any people against it. I mean, people understand, like, oh, I don't want my property damaged. I don't want to have my house, ruined. So everybody's pretty receptive and active on it. I think it's just, we live in a society in a day and age now where it's so easy to just, the days roll by and people forget, and it's like, as soon as you point it out, they go, oh yeah, and then they'll take care of it.
Okay, anything else you want to talk about that I didn't ask you about?
One of the things is, you asked before, it just came back in my head. There was a thing on Facebook where people were like, what do you want in the village, or what could you see the village to do better? And one thing, a lot of people asked about the Jane Street Bridge. That's been a very hot topic discussion. The town does have funding for it through grants. Last I checked and heard, they hired a company, an engineering company, to design plans, and they're projecting it to be done by 26. The end of 26 or end of 26, early 27, the latest. So hopefully they stay with that timeline. If they can speed it up, that'd be even better. But a lot of people want that open. It's been shut down a long time, I think since 2019 or 2021. I think it was 2019. I have to double check that, but it's been a long time.
And what does that bridge give access to?
It was a secondary access point to the Jane Street development area. Other than that, right now you have to go down Meadow Road and wrap around. So it is a safety issue because it does add on time. The barricades you can't move them, and that was required by the state. They don't want any pedestrian traffic, any traffic whatsoever on it. It's fenced off now. So just for safety, we're very focused on making sure that we have 2 access points to every area. It's just an emergency, you have the ability to get to where you need to go. It was also a secondary route for parents to bring their kids to Golden Hill. As of right now, just throwing dates around, there's kids who started kindergarten and left Golden Hill never knowing that bridge was a road that you could drive through. So it's been out a while. And it's something we've been fighting very hard to get done, and it's happy to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So that, I think as of right now, I'm trying to think of anything else to add. It's one of those things you start having conversations, and over time, another thought pops in your head. But I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right, thanks very much, Dan.
Welcome. No, thank you guys.